As people age, especially after turning 80, life can sometimes feel more like enduring than truly living, though this isn't a widely discussed topic. Growing older doesn't always bring the peace or wisdom many expect. Instead, it often comes with physical decline, emotional challenges, and new burdens that were once unimaginable. Reaching your 80s is a monumental achievement, shaped by years of work, love, and struggle. But this phase of life also brings changes that are difficult to fully comprehend unless you're experiencing them firsthand. Though you may still recognize yourself in the mirror, aspects like strength, memory, and independence can start to diminish, much like a fabric that frays over time. Aging in your 80s presents more than just physical difficulties. It can involve emotional, mental, and even spiritual challenges that shift your perception of yourself and the world. This message isn't meant to frighten, but to help people understand these quiet, often unspoken struggles. It's about preparing both mentally and practically for the hurdles that may arise. With awareness, you can face the later years of life with dignity, strength, and resilience. Let's start this important conversation. Reality number one: the shrinking social circle. As you reach your 80s, you might notice your phone stays silent more often, not because people don't care, but because many of them are no longer there to call. A difficult truth of aging is the gradual loss of your social connections. Over time, friends pass away, neighbors move into assisted living, and even close family members grow distant as they focus on their own lives. It's not always about death. It's the quiet absence of those who once filled your days. Regular visits and phone calls from old friends fade away, and familiar voices that once brightened your weekends become rare. Unfortunately, these connections are often not replaced. As your circle of peers shrinks, their unique place in your life remains unfilled. The younger generation, though well-meaning, can't truly share your memories or history in the same way. This shrinking social world doesn't just affect your schedule, it takes a toll on your emotional well-being. Loneliness in old age isn't just about physical isolation, it's the feeling of being forgotten. It's the realization that fewer people remember the person you once were, and fewer people know the full story of your life. Some days it might feel like no one would even notice if you were gone. This diminishing connection can gradually erode your sense of purpose and identity. However, there's hope. While your social world may contract, you still have the opportunity to forge new connections. Many older adults find fulfillment through volunteering, joining community groups, or engaging in regular simple interactions, like chatting with a local store clerk or attending a book club. Creating one new bond, no matter how small, can make a big difference. You're not alone in this journey, and your story still matters to those who would appreciate hearing it. Reality number two: the body's quiet resistance after 80. As you enter your 80s, your body doesn't just age. It begins to change in subtle, unexpected ways. One day you might feel strong and steady, and the next your joints, particularly your knees, may ache with each step. For most older adults, it's not a dramatic breakdown that's surprising, but rather the gradual, unpredictable shifts. Stiffness appears out of nowhere. Your appetite decreases without explanation, and naps start to feel more like a necessity than a choice. While many expect a slow, gradual decline in strength, the inconsistency of these changes is often the most startling. You might sleep soundly for several nights, only to find yourself awake in the middle of the night the next. Foods that once caused no issues may now cause discomfort or digestion problems. It feels as though your body is rewriting its own rules, leaving you frustrated and even feeling betrayed by the body that once served you reliably. This unpredictability can have emotional consequences. You might constantly wonder if a new symptom is temporary or the start of something serious. Is it something to worry about, or will it pass? The constant questioning can be mentally exhausting, and because the changes aren't always visible, others may not realize what you're going through. You might appear fine, walking, doing tasks, smiling, but underneath it all, you're adjusting. You may plan errands around your good hours, skip meals to avoid discomfort, or take extra breaks because your body feels unsteady. What makes it harder is the unpredictability. Some days you feel surprisingly young and hopeful, but the next day your body might feel fragile again. This is not weakness, it's simply the reality of aging, which requires more care and attention. To cope, small routines can help. Simple actions like drinking warm water in the morning, gentle stretching, or spending a few minutes in the sun can make a difference. These practices show your body and yourself that you're adapting, not giving up. This quiet resilience is how we age with strength and grace. Reality number 3, the circle grows smaller after 80. As we age, one of the hardest truths to accept is that our social circles naturally shrink. This can happen gradually, almost imperceptibly, or it can change rapidly. Friends you once spoke with regularly may stop returning calls. Neighbors who shared coffee and casual conversations may move away or pass on. Even family members who once relied on you for support can become more distant as they juggle their own busy lives. It's not always that people care less. It's simply that life changes. Your children, now grandparents themselves, are managing their own careers, health issues, and family responsibilities. Though their love for you remains, the frequency of calls decreases, visits shorten, and your sense of connection with them begins to slip away. Initially, you may convince yourself it's just a phase, but as time goes on, with fewer phone calls, missed milestones, and quiet holidays, the void becomes more apparent. You might find yourself reflecting on the past more often, cherishing old memories and conversations, because creating new ones becomes more challenging. Physical limitations can also impact your social life. Driving at night may become unsafe, loud environments more difficult to navigate, and the energy required for social events may feel overwhelming. Even when opportunities to connect arise, you may hesitate, weighing the effort needed to participate. Often, it feels like too much. This results in a quiet, painful cycle. Less interaction leads to feelings of invisibility, and those feelings make it easier for others to overlook you. This isn't usually intentional, but the loneliness is real. Sandra, an 84-year-old woman, once shared that her loneliest moment wasn't being alone. It was realizing that no one expected her call, no one noticed if she missed a gathering, and no one was waiting for her to arrive. However, here's what matters most. A smaller circle doesn't mean a life without meaning. Connection doesn't require a crowd. Even a few meaningful relationships, a friend to laugh with or simply share quiet moments, can provide a profound sense of belonging. To maintain these bonds, you may need to reach out, even when it feels uncomfortable. Write a note, accept an invitation, or make the call. You can also find purpose by giving. Mentoring, volunteering, or sharing your life story can make a significant impact. While you may feel overlooked at times, someone is always listening, and your experiences could be exactly what they need to hear. Aging doesn't mean becoming invisible. Staying connected takes effort, but your presence still holds value. Your circle may be smaller, but your worth remains unchanged. Reality number 4, the weight of outliving loved ones. A quiet sorrow accompanies the reality of outliving those you've loved the most. After 80, this isn't just a possibility. It becomes a frequent experience. You find yourself saying goodbye over and over. Friends who've known you since childhood, siblings who shared your earliest memories, and even the spouse you envisioned growing old with all pass on. It's not just grief. It's the emotional weight of holding on to memories no one else shares. You become the last person who remembers certain moments, the sole keeper of stories no one else can recall. That mark on the hallway wall, or that special day in 1963, is now just a memory you carry alone. The conversations that used to begin with, "Remember when?" become silence because there's no one left to reminisce with you. This loneliness isn't just about being physically alone. It's about being the only one who holds a lifetime of shared history. As the faces in your story fade and the audience who once knew every chapter dwindles, another form of pain emerges, a quiet guilt. It's not guilt over anything you've done, but simply from being the one who remains. You might wonder why you're still here when others are not. You reflect on moments you might have handled differently, carrying memories that were never fully concluded. This grief doesn't vanish, it shifts, becoming a constant presence in your daily life. Robert, 87, once shared that the hardest part of growing old wasn't physical pain, but the moments when he reached for a second coffee cup or expected to hear his wife's voice answer a thought he hadn't spoken aloud. Yet within this sorrow, there's a quiet strength. There's bravery in being the one who remembers, in getting out of bed when the house feels empty. Your stories, shared with others, keep those who have passed alive in the hearts of those still here. Your voice becomes the thread connecting the past to the present. If you're struggling with the weight of loss, know you're not alone, and your story still matters. There's power in remembrance and in honoring those you've lost by sharing their legacies. Aging may bring losses, but it also brings the grace of being a living keeper of memory. Reality number 5, the quiet loss of independence after 80. As you enter your 80s, a subtle yet unsettling shift can occur, even if you're mentally sharp, physically capable, and living independently. People around you may begin to treat you as though you're no longer fully capable of making your own decisions. Your personal freedom starts to shrink, often without anyone noticing. This change may start with small, well-meaning actions. Your children might insist on driving you, even though you're still comfortable behind the wheel, or they may start questioning how you manage your eating habits, sleep schedule, or medications. While these actions come from a place of love, the result is often a gradual erosion of your autonomy. Before you realize it, decisions are no longer solely yours. They're being influenced, guided, or gently steered by others. This can lead to frustration. You've lived a full life, learned your own limits, and earned the right to make your own choices. Yet the world around you begins to act as though aging means surrendering that right, as if growing older erases the wisdom and self-awareness you've cultivated over the years. You might find that your voice holds less weight in conversations, or that your preferences are dismissed. Joyce, 84, shared how her daughter started managing everything from her daily walks to her choice of TV shows, all out of care, but it made her feel as though she was losing control of her own life. She didn't feel incapable. She felt invisible, treated more like a child than an adult with decades of life experience. This is one of the quieter struggles of aging, fighting to retain your sense of agency in a world that often assumes you've lost it. It's not about rejecting help, it's about maintaining your dignity. You deserve to be asked, not told. Setting boundaries like saying, "Thank you, but I'd like to handle this myself," isn't selfish, it's essential. Protecting your independence at this stage helps preserve your sense of self. The choices you make, what to eat, where to go, how to spend your time, are reflections of who you are. And no matter your age, your identity still matters. Your voice still deserves to be heard and respected. Reality number 6, the emotional toll of outliving loved ones. One of the hardest aspects of life after 80 is not physical discomfort, but the emotional weight of loss. Over time, the people who once filled your days with conversations, shared holidays, and familiar laughter begin to disappear. Friends pass away, siblings gradually fade from your life, and sometimes even a lifelong partner's gone. What's left is more than sadness. It's a quiet, deep stillness that slowly weaves itself into the rhythm of your daily existence. Grief in later years feels different. It's no longer as sharp or overwhelming as it once was. Instead, it lingers, constant and quiet, like a hum in the background of your life. You may wake up one day and realize there's no one left to share a memory from your past, no one who remembers your younger self or who understands the private jokes you once laughed about. This kind of loneliness doesn't scream. It simply sits there, present in the silent spaces of your day. This emotional shift can make you feel adrift, as if you're floating in a world that continues to move forward while your anchors, the people who shared your history, are slowly gone. No one really prepares you for this. No one teaches you how to keep going while carrying invisible grief. It takes quiet strength to go through daily routines, like having breakfast, smiling, or holding a conversation, all while carrying the weight of so many losses. Charles, 87, once shared that in the past 5 years, he'd attended more funerals than he could count. With each one, he felt a small part of his own life was buried with him. Many older adults experience this feeling, often in silence, not because they don't feel it, but because loss becomes an invisible part of everyday living. What helps many people keep going is the choice to stay open to new connections, despite the inevitable goodbyes. Some find joy in laughing with a new friend, having a neighbor over for coffee, or sharing stories with someone younger. These moments, though different from the past, help keep the heart engaged. Staying connected isn't just about filling time, it's about feeling alive. So if you're walking through this season of grief, don't hide from the sadness. It's real and it's valid. But also know there's still space for joy, laughter, and love, even if it looks different now. Let grief accompany you, but don't let it stop you. That's how you keep moving forward. Reality number 7, embracing your fragility with grace after 80. One of the most humbling realizations in your 80s is accepting your own fragility, not just in terms of physical strength, but also in the everyday tasks that once felt effortless. Simple activities like tying your shoes, standing up from a low chair, or holding a cup without shaking now require more effort and attention. While you may not always feel old, every ache or stumble serves as a reminder that your body has changed. These physical reminders can gradually undermine your confidence. Activities that were once second nature, walking alone, cooking a full meal, or traveling, can start to feel daunting. Your routine shifts from focusing on what you want to do to what you can safely manage. While this shift is necessary, it can also make life feel more restricted. However, fragility doesn't equate to weakness. In fact, it's a sign of wisdom and an opportunity to navigate life more carefully. It's your body urging you to be more mindful, and your years of experience teaching you how to adjust. I met a woman named Nancy, age 84, who said something that stuck with me. "I don't mind needing a cane now. I earned it. It's a reminder that I've walked a long road and I'm still going." This shift in perspective makes all the difference. Some try to deny their limitations, acting as if they're still as strong as before. But others find strength in adapting, using aids, asking for help, and taking their time. Ironically, those who accept their fragility often remain independent the longest. They're not fighting their reality, they're working with it. Instead of resisting change, embrace it. Real strength at this stage isn't about proving you can do it all. It's about prioritizing what matters, conserving energy, and facing each day with intention and grace. What matters most is not how much you can do, but how you approach each day with dignity, resilience, and the quiet strength that comes from a life well lived. Final thoughts. Life after 80 is not just about managing physical changes. It's about facing life's deeper truths with courage and openness. It's okay to acknowledge that this stage can be challenging, but there's strength in embracing these realities with wisdom rather than fear. You are neither a burden nor invisible. You are still here, and that matters. Your experiences, voice, laughter, and resilience still hold immense value. Your life continues to have meaning, as does your presence. Prioritize your mental well-being. Allow yourself to feel and express your emotions, and don't keep them bottled up. Acknowledge loneliness if it arises, but don't let it define you. Stay engaged, remain curious, and keep your heart open to new connections and experiences. Be honest about financial challenges, but don't lose your spirit of generosity. Choose kindness, even in the small moments. And when your body feels slower or less steady, carry yourself with pride. Every step you take is part of a meaningful journey. Aging gracefully isn't about perfection. It's about showing up each day with dignity, honesty, and an open heart. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to know what stood out to you. Feel free to leave a comment with a takeaway and how you plan to use it in your life. Your feedback encourages us to keep producing meaningful content. If you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others. Your support helps us keep creating uplifting and informative videos. Thanks again for watching, and we can't wait to see you next time.